Welcome back, everybody. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and we're your hosts, Bull P and Timmy G. Hey, man, look, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty, but we was able to pull it out. And, I mean, that's pretty much how it goes every time that we play Florida. You know what I mean? It seems like, we talked about this all week. It's like that voodoo magic, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I just want to say this first and foremost because I had to do a much better job of kind of staying off of some of the message boards and all that type of. But man, people just giving up. You know what I'm saying? Like packaging. Oh man, Nico, this and this person that and da. Man, come on, dog. Like you have to understand, it is a 60-minute game. I think that we came out and we did what we had to do to win. And I also feel like this team is growing. You know what I mean? Like we are growing as as time goes on. So those are just my opening thoughts. Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. You can't just give up on a guy. I mean, Nico, he didn't look great early. Honestly, his stats weren't bad. He just had he missed a couple deep shots and then threw the pick. And then through the second half, he didn't finish with a great, completion percentage or whatever. But I mean, I think he did enough for us to be able to win. I'm most impressed with this team's resiliency to find a way to fight back in that game. Defense kept bailing us out in that first half, keeping that 3-score game at halftime, man. I mean, they got inside the 20-yard line like 3 or 4 times, only came up with 3 points in that first half. So that was really what gave us a chance to win that game. And just that team fighting, man. Find a way to fight, continue to fight. I think Heupel did some things, kind of things that we talked about. We saw some more motions. We saw some a whole lot more check down options available for Nico. So I think overall, man, I just love the way this team continued to fight. Like you said, against Florida, it's never going to be easy, even if it is, a team that we feel like we're better than, or a team, hey, we're at home. Like we talked about as well. That's a pretty good Florida team that we just beat. I think they're going to win some games this year, and
that's the best team.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
did I turn off?
Yeah. So that's the best. I think that Florida is the best team that we played so far this entire season. I know that everyone thinks that Florida sucks, but that is a very, very good football team, and they will have success moving forward. But Timmy G, excuse me, y'all. Timmy G, tell us what your thoughts are, man.
Dude, anytime you get a win against Florida, because once again, you've already stated, like, there's voodoo magic in that game, right? And hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I didn't watch that. Did you watch the game sitting down at the end? Because I couldn't. I was pacing around. I was over here standing in this door. I was like, I've seen this movie before. I was like, no. And I was like, oh no, because when Mertz got hurt, I was like, man, that just sounds like a Tennessee thing. Here comes this kid. He's gonna come in like
backup quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Like here's the story, right? BBS, right? True BBS.
100%.
But no, man, look, defense is legit. Like it is straight up. Tennessee has a championship defense. Offense wasn't the best, but hey, we got the dub. I ain't going to talk any crap about them because we got the win, and it's Florida. And a little stat for you. I saw this on Twitter right before we launched. This is the first time Tennessee has beaten Florida in back-to-back home games since 1990/92.
Wow. Man. That's crazy. I mean, that is really big.
You want something to be happy about? There's a stat to be happy about. That hasn't happened in forever.
Yeah, we've
seen a lot better quarterbacks, and I won't say that right as he is right now. A lot better quarterbacks than Nico lose to Florida. Okay, and now he's a freshman. I ain't talking crap about Nico. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, like, look, SEC is the SEC. You don't know what's going to happen week in and week out. Like, we think we know and we talk our trash and do our thing, but man, it's a battle, and this year is insane.
Well, heck, I mean, yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I mean, even look at the Georgia-Mississippi State game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in Athens. That's a 10-point ball game. So, I mean, the margin for error is so much smaller. There's so much parity this season. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, and then
points, that game was 10 points at the end?
Yeah, well, look, Florida beat Mississippi State worse than Georgia did. And they were playing in Athens. Now, also, Mississippi State played in Gainesville. But the whole point is people have to understand that this is a very, very good team that Tennessee just beat. And, we're not going to keep on driving that point home too much. But I will say this. I mean, we are going to kind of go through, and we're going to be honest about how players played and all that good stuff. So we're not going to shy away from it, and we want to get everybody's thoughts too, because now we can actually pull up people's chats. So this is actually – so this is the reason that we had to restart it, because for some reason this studio, it's been messing up. Excuse me, my voice is messing up. But Tennessee Vol 1084 is asking, is this a new one? Yes, it is. Right here. Saying go big orange. So I think that you got to switch on over, brother. Gumps, you got to switch back to your other profile. But let's go, guy says I lost my voice during the game. Obviously, I did too. Nico did okay, bro. The wide receiver drop a wide open pass to get downfield, but it was okay. They missed the field goal. It feels good to beat Alabama. Let's beat Alabama next week. Yeah, so I think that's coming. And we'll talk about that stuff. I'll just tell you right now, I've watched a little bit of film on, well, actually, we watched a ton of film on Alabama. I think that this Florida game was a tougher challenge, was a tougher matchup for Tennessee. And I hadn't said that all week, but I think that the game next weekend versus Alabama, and we saw what they did versus South Carolina, back-to-back weekends, they have not looked stellar. Really, even going back to that UGA game, we left away saying that they've got some issues. So I think that we will be fine moving forward. Right here, Bianco Nino says this team is losing / struggling to teams with inferior talent and coaches on the hot seat. What does that say about our coaching? So I want to go on ahead and address this real quickly because, like we just said, Florida's roster is the best that we've seen so far this year. Now, Arkansas, yeah, we shouldn't have lost that game. This is close. This is a rivalry game, and they are coaching or they're playing for their coach's job. So understand that these are scholarship players. Like, it's not like we're playing up against some AA ball club. These guys can play. Okay, they're very, very good. So this was a good win. It wasn't perfect. A lot of things have to get cleaned up that we all saw, and we are going to talk about it. But what I saw was a coaching staff that did what we talked about all week. They tried to run the football outside more. Of course, you still got to try to run inside too. They switched things up. We saw a whole lot of pre-snap motions, getting isolations, and so we were trying to do things. The offensive line looked better. There was one spurt where they got 3 sacks back to back to back. Outside of that, I don't think that we gave up any more sacks. We're going to check the stats here in just a minute. But I think that we are getting better every single week. So, I mean, defense look good. You know what I mean? And then Keenan Pili's out. We'll talk about that. That's going to be big. We don't know how long he is going to be out. But seeing these younger linebackers stepping up, seeing the defense stepping up, on all 3 levels. Sometimes you have to kind of be optimistic and not so pessimistic. You know what I mean? Because guess what? Tennessee could have very well lost this game.
Dude,
and now that would be something for us to kind of, be yelling about. But Tennessee won, right?
Yeah, well, man, Arian Carter showed up. Like that was a moment right there. When Pili went down and the communication I saw in the defense and the way those guys were communicating, that was pretty impressive. Tim Banks made some really good adjustments, and man, they had those guys just freaking locked down. So yeah,
for sure. Let's get to some more of these. All right, you know what? Actually, we're gonna come back to the chat here in just a second, but let's go ahead and try to pull these stats up here real quick, and let's start talking about that because obviously, man, it'll be easier for us to just kind of break down who did what and all that good stuff, and because I know that's what everybody kind of wants to talk about. Just recap this whole ball game. So, first and foremost, Nico. He goes 16 of 26 for 169, no touchdowns. Excuse me. He had a really bad interception. That was terrible. And then as far as rushing, he had 2, maybe 3 rushing or rushes that looked like they were about 20 yards ish. All those came back for some bogus holding calls. I know people want to talk about our tackles, holding, and this, that, and the third. Those are really bad calls. You don't call that. If an offensive lineman has somebody in close to their body, that's not holding, right? So I think that those were really bad calls. So Nico, he tried to make more plays with his legs today. We saw him rolling out more. I think that for the most part, he was pretty accurate, especially starting this game off, but he's got to stop staring down wide receivers. It does kind of feel like, his clock is going. It seems like things are going too fast for him mentally sometimes. He needs to be able to get his pre-snap reads right, see how the play is going post-snap, and then operate that way. You've got to be able to hit wide open people, especially when the game is on the line. We should not have gone into overtime because we had opportunities there. But those are my thoughts, kind of overall with Nico. But Pete, what are yours?
Yeah, I mean, Nico, I think what you said is exactly right. The game seems to be moving a little bit too fast for him. He just needs to settle down. Like, just settle down, I mean, the deep throw to Nimrod. I mean, that one, the way he missed that ball. I mean,
it was way
that's a bad miss. The one to Squirrel, that wasn't. I mean, I can see that one. That was right there. You know, it was just a step out of his reach. I mean, that's not a bad ball. But then the throw near the end zone when Squirrel kind of ran again, one of those routes we talked about, kind of a little out and in, a nice little route combination. And I mean, I don't know if Nico's throwing to him. I'm assuming he was, and he just grossly missed him. It was like a 5-10 yard throw. Like,
the one where it was him and Brew.
It was I can't remember. I want to say it was Brazel over there, but it was we're about to score. We're like a 10-yard line, and we're about to score. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
I think I remember the play you're talking about.
Yeah, and he just missed him. So it is some of those things, man. Fumbling out of bounds there near the end. Like there's some of these little plays that he's doing that frustrate you, but you got to remember he is still a freshman.
Yeah,
this is 6th, 7th game, so he is still learning. But you can see once the game slows down for him, once he gets more experienced, more mature, he is going to be really special. Because you see some of those he makes, like that throw to Squirrel there in that last drive. Squirrel makes a great catch on the sideline. I mean, that was like a 55 yard scope.
Yeah, that was amazing throw.
Pinpoint. It could have easily been picked off. So dangerous though, but very accurate. So I think he did enough for us to win, obviously, and I think he'll continue to get better. Hopefully, has a big game next week. But overall, I mean, I'm definitely not selling my Nico stock just yet.
Yeah. Oh hell no, man. I mean, I think this is his 7th start, right? I believe this is 7th start last week. Yeah, this is 7th start. Look, the kid's running for his life sometimes. Like, I don't know what you expect him to do. Listen, that when you've got that kind of thing happen, you start seeing ghosts. When you start seeing that enough, you start seeing ghosts. Yeah. And look, man, if we can keep the pocket clean and not only that, man, call some better damn plays, bro. But look, I think he did fine. That one interception was bad. Like he just stared straight down that guy, and but that's a freshman mistake, and he's a freshman. Like everybody, I don't know why everybody thinks he's supposed to be perfect. He's not going to be perfect. If you thought he was going to be perfect all season, then what are you smoking, bro?
It's the money. People think because he's getting paid that he should just automatically be able
so is every other person in the country. Like, don't expect miracles out of this guy. Mm-hmm. Like, if you can block for him and receivers can get open, listen, football is a game where there's so many different moving pieces and so many things can go wrong. Don't hate on the kid. The kid's got ice in his veins. Once the game starts to slow down for him a little bit, like we're going to be in really good shape. Yeah, we're going to be in really good shape.
For sure, yeah. So I mean, obviously, he's going to have to continue to grow and keep on getting better. I actually think, and I kind of brought this up. I think that the play calling was better. I think that the blocking and all that stuff was better. I was hoping that the stats on defense would have shown up so that we could see how many sacks they got. But I think that it was only those 3. Was it more than that?
I want to say they got one on another job too. I want to say it was like those 3 plus at least one more.
But Nico, it didn't feel like on every single play, Nico had to run. Like he had time to kind of operate and go through all of his reads. So, I mean, that's really all that you can ask for. You're going up against a really good front. Several players on Florida's defense, I think they can go on to the NFL. Like they've got that type of talent and they've got a lot of depth with it. So, I think that the offensive line held up very, very well. I think that the run blocking, I think that it was pretty good. I got to go back and kind of watch the film more with that. But all in all, I think that, the offense missed several things, but we did call, like we dialed it up and we tried to give Nico opportunities. He just didn't hit on them quite enough. So what I like the most is that we know that the coaching staff gets it and that they are, kind of opening things up. So Nico played his first game today with the training wheels off. This is going to be his first one. So he's learning, and it came in the SEC versus one of our biggest rivals. So he's going to grow. He's going to get better. We're seeing everyone taking those steps. So I'm not out on him either. I know the P said he ain't selling his stock. I damn sure ain't selling mine. You know what I mean? Let's see right here. We've got a super chat from 10 Vols 1084. Thank you so much for that, brother. For 1999 says it was ugly, but we beat Florida. Go Vols 100%. We all second that notion. Let's go ahead and play the clip. All right. Thank you. So We are gonna definitely get back into the chat, but I want to kind of talk a little bit more about the rest of some of these stats, just because there's more players, and hopefully y'all can see this. I don't know if I could zoom in on this or not, but let's kind of talk about rushing wise. So we talked some about, well, actually, I guess we could talk a little bit about what Florida's quarterbacks did. So Mertz goes out. Hopefully he's going to be okay. Didn't look good. He's on crutches.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
Yeah. But, he went 11 for 15, which I don't know what percentage that is outside, Pete. Do you know?
Pretty damn good. That's what it is.
That's very good. So 73%, which we actually held him under his average of 77.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something for us to cheer about. He had 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 125 yards. And then Ladway comes in. He goes 9 for 17 for 98 yards, 1 touchdown on, I don't know what the hell Turntime was doing in coverage on that. He just got turned around. There was no need for him to open up his hips. We're going to talk about that, y'all. So that's only about 53% for him. But yeah, so I think that we did a good job of just mostly kind of keeping them bottled up. You know what I mean? Taking away what they like to do for the most part. It definitely wasn't perfect on defense by any means, but that's a really tough offense to stop. That's why their numbers look how they look. Nobody's been able to really, stop it like that for real.
And kind of to your point there, losing Keenan Peely so early kind of forced huge difference. I mean, it forced Jalen Smith in there in the game, and like I think this is probably the one game where you really don't want to lose Peely, because we knew they're really gonna attack the linebackers of what they do. And so having the young guys have to come in and play, we saw a lot of Caleb Perry, those guys. I think they held their own pretty well, but a lot of these yards and stats honestly came really going at those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say specifically, and I'm not trying to pick on him, but just what I saw with the naked eyes, that Jalen Smith is consistently missing his run fits. He's consistently, just going to the wrong places. He's been doing that all season long. So that's something, I mean, he's going to have to step it up big time, because we're going to need him, especially if Peely's going to be missing time. Hopefully Peely is back. I'm going to keep on saying Peely will be back. Okay, Peely will be back to 100%. I think it was just like a little sprain or something. So he's going to be fine. I'm going to keep on speaking that. So this as far as rushing, okay? Montrell Johnson for Florida, he had a really nice game, 7.1 yards per carry. But then if you look at what Tennessee did, I think the D-Samp, man, getting 27 carries in this game. Are you kidding me? He looked good. He had several really strong runs where you could tell he's just fighting, trying to get everything. Huge in that overtime drive. You know what I mean? Just huge. Actually, Nico, he handed it off to him one time, and Nico could have kept it. And if he would have kept it, Nico would have scored. Either way, proud of what they did just to close this game out. I think that Bishop, he's also playing very, very well. You can see the average. But Tennessee, from top to bottom, we had 43 rushes for 143 yards, and Florida had 40 for 138. So we outrushed them, but they actually had a little bit higher yards per carry. They had 3.5. We had 3.3. Either way, we know that in this game, we talked about this a lot also, that the team that rushes for the most yards typically wins. Tennessee had to do that. I'm proud that we kind of stuck to the run game. We got to try to switch up when we do it, though. It just feels like 2nd and 10, it feels like we do it on
too predictable.
Right?
It's entirely too predictable. And this 3rd and 7 shit again, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here? But I'm not going to go too hard on that. Look, we got the dub. And, I saw somebody saying here, well, Florida Alligators are not a good team. I think they're better than you think. I think they're better than you think. And it doesn't matter if they're not a good team. Florida plays us like they're the freaking national champs when they come anytime we play. Like,
100%.
it doesn't matter. Anytime they play us, they could be 0-7. It wouldn't matter. When they play us, they would play us like a Super Bowl caliber team. That's just the way it happens. How can you not know this if you're a Tennessee fan? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the way the world works. But listen, man, like, you had injuries and different things, and things didn't go perfect, but you still got the win.
Yeah.
Listen, do you think this shit would have happened with Jeremy Pruitt or Butch Jones?
Oh, we would have got killed.
They
would have lost by like 30 points.
It wouldn't even be a thing, would it? Like,
no.
I get people are like, oh, well, we didn't win big enough. Well, guess what? This shit ain't Kent State. This is an SEC team, bro.
SEC, man.
They've got literal NFL guys on that team. Even though you think they're bad, they've got NFL guys on that team. I bet they have a lot guy or two on this team the way they're playing this.
Yeah, they have a lot of NFL guys on their team, and I mean, think about it. You know, everyone wants to crown Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State every single season. Ohio State just lost to an Oregon team that barely beat Boise State and freaking Idaho. Okay, Georgia lost to an Alabama team that lost to Vanderbilt and also almost lost today to South Carolina.
Bro,
okay, Ole Miss lost to Kentucky.
He nailed it. He nailed it earlier when
you got to kind of check yourself and understand that on any given Saturday you can lose to these teams. These guys are good. It's not like, you know, us as fans, we look at certain names like, oh, this team sucks. You know, it's a whole different era. It's the transfer portal, all that type of stuff. So this was a really good win.
He said it earlier when he said parity in college football is here, because that is the 100% truth. Like the transfer portal and the way all these things are working, like, parity is here. Like you're starting to see where any team can just about beat any other given team on a day if they come out and play right. I ain't talking about ACC or, you know, some of those, but SEC, Big Ten, like it's just different nowadays, man. Nobody has a monopoly. Georgia, like Georgia's not the best team in the country. No. Do you really think Texas is the best team in the country? I don't really think they are. I mean, they're unbeaten, so they deserve to be where they're at. I'm not hating on them there, but do you really think Texas is going to finish the season unbeaten? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, they got A&M. I mean, that's the thing, you know.
That's the team.
Yeah, because Bull and I, you know, we got the All-22, so we're watching all these teams, and that's one of the things I've kind of noticed. So, you know, watching Penn State, USC, I mean, there's all these teams I've watched. A lot of these teams look very similar. Like personnel-wise, there's not a huge gap. It's not like you watch some team and say, "Oh, this team sucks." Yeah, like everybody's got guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. And you know, we've talked about this before too. You guys gotta realize, man, these are freaking kids. These are kids that are going out, man, with all the crap that is going around nowadays, social media and all the hype, and you know, these kids getting pulled this way and that way. And not only that, these kids ain't broke no more. They got money.
Yeah.
They can go to the club if they want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got real money.
There's distractions.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to this one real quick from Christopher Welch, and he's asking, was the overtime and getting the crowd going better than winning a blowout as far as the visiting recruits? So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's probably going to be on a person-to-person basis. The one thing that I can tell you, though, is that these players coming out of high school, they don't care nearly as much about a team winning as y'all think they do. And I don't mean to say all y'all, but some people really think that. They're like, well, if we come out and win, then the players that came out to visit, they're going to come. Or if we lose, then they're just not going to come. It doesn't work like that, because these guys are looking at a whole lot more than what the team is doing just as far as wins and losses right now. Now, obviously, your team can't suck. I mean, it's not a good look to get blown out. But, you know, just the crowd being rocking, which it sounded like on TV, it was really loud. That right there, I think that makes a really big difference. And, you know, it's just going to be up to, you know, how are the coaches treating them? You know, how do they fit into the scheme? Things like that, I feel like just mean a little bit more.
And kind of to that, because I was thinking about the recruits too, and I wonder, because, you know, the game obviously was low-scoring game, 3-0 at the half. It was kind of a slow game. So I just wonder, like, as far as the recruits, like how much they enjoyed the game. Like, I think the environment itself went a long way for them. Like, I mean, I'd hope it was rocking. You can't get a real feel for it on TV, you know, but I'm sure it was electric. I'm sure they had a great time. But I was thinking about that too, is how much of the recruits enjoying themselves and kind of this slow paced game. You know what I mean?
No, listen. Number one, they got to win. That's what that's the big thing. They got to win while the recruits were there. Actually, I think it's a little better, in my opinion, just because it was such an electric environment. And Neyland is different, man. Like it leaves an impression. And I promise you, Christian Gass, this was his second college game, right? I promise you that stadium, that environment, all the stuff there left an impression. Well, just wait till profit sharing comes in. That's going to leave an impression. And Danny White puts in a fourth deck and adds that place is going to be 120,000 people. And does Georgia have a state income tax?
Yeah.
Tennessee doesn't.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of factors here to what recruits are going to be looking at. It's just not about wins and losses anymore. But they got to win, and that was important. And they had a lot of talent there to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was a really, really big win for several reasons. Let me see. Okay? I'm trying to wait to see when the defensive stats come up, but we can go ahead and talk about our wide receivers because obviously that was a big storyline kind of coming into this game. So let's come on down here, man. Squirrel just being an absolute, being an absolute and total dog. He's got that AC joint deal going on. Fell down several times. You kind of see him like his arm is kind of hanging some. So you know that he was playing through a lot of pain. But he has 5 catches for 71 yards. No touchdowns. Obviously, none of our guys scored touchdowns from this perspective. Chris Brazzell, he had a couple of nice catches. Really nice catches. It was one where if he could have kept his foot in bounds, that's the Chris Brazzell that we all been looking for, right?
Winner.
Yeah, man. Like you go up and you're kind of like mossing people. So I think that he's getting that confidence going. But that's the whole point, is that you got to try to look long term, because we all want to win a championship. But for us to win a championship, this team today is not ready for it. I don't know if there's a team out there, maybe outside of Texas, and they've got their own issues too, that is ready to win a championship. You got to grow throughout the season. And we've talked about it. We just want to be able to like peak at the right time. And what I'm seeing is a team that every single week we're taking strides. Even last weekend versus Arkansas, that was a big learning moment for everybody. We can't overlook nobody, and we got to come ready every single day. So I felt like this team did that. Again, we're seeing players kind of, playing through some pain and things like that. Chaz Nimrod with 1 catch for 16 yards. Now, man, I feel like he dropped a few. Some of them was on Nico. The ball didn't look like it was placed right, but he's got to be a little bit more consistent. Dante, it was good to see him coming in. Actually, I think his only catch, they said he had, how many catches? That 2? Okay, I'm sorry, 1. I got confused. All right, so he had 1 catch. That was right. That was an overtime, right?
But it was a big catch.
That was huge.
Like if you're going to show up in the moments that matter, right?
When it matters the most.
But here's the thing. It's not like you saw the ball get thrown at him. How many times we see it get thrown at Dante? I only saw it that once.
That was it. And well, I mean, look, so like I don't.
He made that one.
Yeah, like I don't know if he even came in until like the very, very end.
Yeah,
honestly, like I don't remember seeing him out there.
But dude, I'll be honest with you, and you said this. I really did not think Squirrel would even play this game. He went out the last game in a sling, and you saw him getting up with that arm several times. That kid's got heart, man. He showed out.
Yeah, he is 100% a dog. Dante is showing that he can step up in those critical moments. That's something that we talked about last season. It just kind of felt like the lights was too bright for him, but now he's settled in and he's playing with that confidence. And he's a guy that we can trust moving forward. That's huge because we know we have at least one of them. Obviously, Brew's going to be one. Squirrel, clearly, he's going to be one. And now it kind of feels like maybe Brazzell's starting to find his way. Maybe he turns into one. Now, where the heck was Mike Matthews at? Let me see. 0 catches for Mike Matthews. Again, we got to get that figured out. Now, the coaching staff knows a lot better than we do as fans, obviously. They see these guys every single day. So there must be something there that everyone else is missing. But we got to try to find a way to force feed him the freaking football. I know that he had a really nice block on, I think, Brew. He had like a jet sweep or something. And Mike Matthews is out there blocking hard. So it seems like he's kind of ready for that moment. He's ready for us to give him his opportunity. When does that come? It needs to come sooner rather than later. But yeah, I mean, just pretty much outside of that, you see that we used D Samson. Ethan Davis is finally back. I think he came out with those starters. So that 12 personnel were kind of, spreading things out, having him flexed out, just doing a whole lot of different things. Everything I feel like almost that we talked about this week, this staff is implementing it. And not because we said it, but just because they're trying to change things up. So that has to make you feel good about how this team is now trending, because I kind of feel like after that loss versus Arkansas, seeing that shell coverage that Florida didn't run as much, but they did run it some. Now we know how to beat that. So we kind of had to go back to our base fundamentals and kind of build back up again. So we're back kind of to the base. What we saw today is the base of basically this whole new team that I think is going to get to the point that we've wanted for our Volunteers to get back to since 1998. And you know, we almost had that 20-17 win over these Florida Gators, just like 98. So, you know, I think that there is a lot for us as Volunteer fans to be very, very happy with. What are y'all's thoughts, though? Because I know we kind of touched some. And also, if y'all have any thoughts on the wide receivers or anything else, y'all can just go. But I kind of wanted to talk some about defense, but y'all can just kind of take it wherever y'all want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with Ken Peely going out early. Like we said, that was a huge loss. I mean, he's really the heart of that defense, especially we knew today they were going to tackle linebackers. So having him was like, man, this is like a worst case scenario.
Yes.
But I mean, I think, you know, we saw the other guys come in there and they did what they could. I mean, I think they played well. I think T-Lander played well. I think Caleb Perry played well. And obviously Aaron Carter, I mean, he was lights out today.
Hey, Will Brooks has looked very good all season long. He has impressed the hell out of me.
Oh yeah,
very proud of him.
Yeah, Will
He's
Brooks
been pretty solid, man. Like, look, I know we were giving that dude a lot of we were questioning him, right?
Yeah.
But hey, like that's impressive. He's a walk-on, bro.
And he's
playing
very
he's
well.
Hanging with SEC caliber talent. Like, if there's any team that has some speed guys that can expose you, I promise you it's the Florida Gators.
Yeah.
Right?
We haven't been exposed yet.
No. And look, man, he's hanging in there. Jamar McCoy is an absolute freaking dog.
Oh, he's
yeah.
Hey, is he the best cornerback in this league? Like, I'm just talking about, you know, SEC.
I mean, as far as he's the best on Tennessee without a freaking doubt.
Oh yeah,
he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We have him. We have Ricky Gibson for one more season.
He's the total package, man. He's got physicality. His coverage is honestly the only one time I had anything with him, and don't get me wrong, he had that dude blanketed. But if he would have turned around, he could have picked it. It was one that was going towards like the corner in the end zone. He was trailing, and I was like, and don't get me wrong, dude did not catch the ball. So hey, you did your job. But honestly, if he would have just flipped that head for just a second, he could have picked it.
Yeah.
But man, that even when he got beat in Arkansas, he didn't really get beat. I mean, the quarterback just dropped it in a freaking basket. Those two. Like, that dude has been – he's the best transfer portal grab I think we've got, without a doubt. It's not even close.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's unbelievable. Hopefully he can continue to be that way and play like that. But yeah, I think that the defense has been playing well. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, you're good. I was about to say, man, I think it was interesting when it came out in that 4-3 look. We saw, you know, 3 linebackers out there at a time. I think we started off seeing, was it Peely, Carter, and T-Lander were the first 3 out there? Yeah. So I mean, I think that was an interesting look, and I think it gave them some trouble early. Hey, there you go. Yes, sir. Turn up time. But no, man, I mean, I think defense played well. I mean, I think, you know, we made some good adjustments, obviously, coming out the half. I think we looked really good coming out the half. And, you know, we just found a way to finish. We gave up that touchdown late, Turntine. Okay, I think he didn't have his best day today. I think he got exposed a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first games where and we said this before the game, they're going to really attack the safeties today, safeties and linebackers. And I think Turntine kind of got exposed as a guy that teams are going to start going after. You know, it's not Will Brooks like people were kind of saying for the first game. Yeah. No, he's fine. It's Turntine's guy that's going to be getting exposed and getting attacked. So we're going to find an answer there. I don't know what we do. Do we put in Jacoby Thomas? Do we try to get, you know, a guy like John Slaughter? Well, I think John Slaughter's still hurt, but do we try to get Christian Charles played pretty well today, so maybe he's a guy that steps up.
He played very well. I was super proud of him. Hold on one second. Let me get to UT Bad Gums. I'm not going to pull it up, but let me just tell you, you can email me. I've got it down at the bottom, but my email, it's bullsbluechips@gmail.com. Just email me, bro, and I'll help you get that figured out.
Okay. Yeah, and I saw a comment too. I think you popped it up here. Boo Carter, man. Boo Carter played lights out tonight,
dude. For a true freshman, like
Christian Harrison didn't go, did he? Christian Harrison.
So what about him?
Yeah, so no, I was just saying I don't think that Christian Harrison played today.
No, I think he did
or not.
You know, I thought he did. I thought I saw.
Okay, yeah, maybe he did. I don't remember seeing him, but either way, it felt like Boo played a lot. and he held it down. I mean, he made a lot of good plays. So you have to be very excited about the youth, about the players that this staff has brought in.
At least especially defensively. Yeah. Because we saw a lot of guys grow up today, is what I think. I mean, 100%. Arian Carter, when he showed what he did, and I know a lot of people might overlook it, but what he did when Peely went out, you could tell he was the one directing the defense, making sure the communication was sound, and man, that kid grew up today, and he played hard. I'm so impressed with this defense. I don't think we're going to have Tim Banks for much longer, but it is what it is. Obviously, William Inge is doing a hell of a job with the linebackers, from what I saw. Because Arian Carter is a totally different player than we've seen from last year to this year, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and see, he kind of started off. Obviously he was playing better than he was last season, but you can see his growth. That's what that's the sign of a good coaching staff, when you can see people's growth, right? So we've been seeing it, and sometimes players have to go out there. They got to kind of like take those lumps, but it's going to pay off at the end. If we can just continue to find ways to win, it's going to pay off, because then we'll have even more depth than we had to start this season off, and that's scary. But we're going to need it, just because that's how football is.
So what's the deal towards the end there, down the stretch? I think it was like 2 minutes left. They had the ball, whatever. And it really just all the crunch time moments there late in the game. James Pierce is on the sideline. I know that's something our dad was kind of talking to us about, is like, why is James Pierce constantly not in the game? Like, it just seemed like he would be in for one series and then he would be out for like 1 or 2 series after that. Like, I don't understand what we're doing. I think he was one of the best players on the field tonight, regardless of what the stats show. I mean, you felt him every time he was in the game, and I just don't understand why we rotate him out so much.
Well, Coach G is the GOAT, in my opinion, right? Yeah. So he's got to know something we don't. He's got to see something we don't. Maybe it's run support. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. That's a good question.
And that's the thing too, because I was wondering that too. Do you think Coach G rotates James, or do you think that'd be Coach Eckler? Since I think that is
Coach G. I think it's Coach G. I think that's on Coach G. If it's Coach Eckler, I don't know, man. That dude would probably rotate himself in.
I know, right? Yeah.
That dude is wild, bro. Yeah. He is absolutely insane. He's a madman, and I love it.
But go ahead.
I don't know, man. That's a good question, but you have to think those guys know, they see stuff we don't, obviously. So maybe there's a reason for that. But you're right, man. I know a lot of people were talking about, oh man, James isn't doing that great. Dude, James has been balling out, and he's such a solid player. Like, he's been good in run support. He's been good in everything, and you can tell, man, that dude, he is a leader. You can tell he's a leader. And Tyree West, man, our defense, I love it. And Tim Banks, man, from the adjustments he made coming out in half, like, yeah.
Oh yeah. He's Tim Banks, man, he's good, man. He's really impressed me these past couple seasons, especially this year, man. He's making those adjustments. We'll see what he can continue to do, because we're gonna have, got a big one next week, obviously. Bama. See what plan he has for Milroe. They look like they're kind of spiraling right now. I don't know. I mean, DeBoer, we're talking about this too. I mean, if they would have lost today to South Carolina, and then if we were to go out there next week and really give it to them, I mean, do you think DeBoer would be on the hot seat if he had 3 back-to-back losses like that?
No, 100%. Like, Alabama, number one, like, watching an Alabama game, and you have to understand how fragile these people are, because they've been groomed that way. Like with Saban, you know what I'm saying? Like, they've been, like, watch them. You want to watch Alabama at home get quiet, score on them.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yep. They don't know what to do. They're like, oh my God, what is this? Oh my Lord, they scored. Oh, and it's just the craziest shit ever. But no, 100% he'd be like, they would be, the world is on fire, the sky is falling. Like, they would, don't get me wrong, they're probably still doing that, even though they won, because they're like, oh, this wouldn't have happened under Saban.
Right.
You know, and yeah, like that dude got handled an impossible job.
Yeah.
I actually think he's a pretty good coach. I just think he got handled insane. You can't how you follow Saban.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I mean,
doesn't matter. You're like that's a no-win situation in my opinion, unless you come out and win a national championship this year. It's not going to be a good look for you. If it's anything other than that, that's just Alabama.
Yeah, well, I will say this, you know, and I kind of said this to start off, and let me also say this for everyone that is watching right now. If y'all could do us a very big favor, please like this video. That helps us out tremendously. But you know, coming in, I kind of talked about. I think that Florida was going to be a tougher matchup for Tennessee than Alabama will be next week. I sincerely believe that, just because Florida, their whole style, their scheme, all that, it matches up better. You know, styles do make fights. Obviously, Alabama is going to be the much more talented team, or maybe not much more, but they will be more talented. But I think that Tennessee might have an easier time playing up against that Alabama team. So, you know, I don't know. I think that Kalen stepped into a situation where everyone hears about the SEC, but until you're living in it and you realize, dang, dude, every single week, we got to bring it. Like, you cannot skip a beat every week. It is very, very different. And I think that Kalen is learning that. And, you know, we'll see, man. We're going to kind of start to get to Alabama, I guess, starting off on Monday. But I'm very, very excited about that matchup. That one should be good for all of us Vol fans, man. But I wanted to get to a few more of these chats, y'all. But we are going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. But, you know, obviously, we're going to come back out tomorrow with our thoughts after we take a look at the film and all that good stuff. But, you know, as always, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We just want to kind of get our thoughts out. Obviously, huge win. Everybody that's kind of down, please don't do this to yourself, okay? Enjoy the wins that we get. It's hard to win. This is a big one. We all know we don't beat Florida every year, so celebrate this. Don't beat yourself up. Don't make yourself miserable and all that type of stuff. So I just want to put that out there, but we will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on your way out the door. And we will see y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.
Go Vols.